Legendary Fighters 2. It's been 25 years since the last hero, Legendary Fighters. During this time has speed up in the Milky Way and the Cosmic True Galaxy. There, the two forces of Earth and the Cosmic True married Victor and Heidi. Holly had died to succumb to injuries. Diva had chemo and decided to retire. Salson died a Christian, and also Earth a born a Christian. However, a second tournament was in the loom. This was to lure out Paul Harra and his forces, who was hiding somewhere in the cosmos, using a dark cloud of evil influence to influence the Androscan forces to kill up the Sumatrans. So the second tournament was put in place, this time with stakes higher, with the final opponent being Diana LaFleur herself, hoping to lure out a team from Paul Harra. She offered, if she was defeated, the entire universe to those who would take it, along with fame and great wealth. Well, Victor and Heidi had a son. Their son Delator was the emperor of the universe by the time of the first universe. This was all due to the time distortion Paul Harra was using to get Delator to be born. Anyway, Delator was 25. Is it 25? Yes, 25 years later. At birth, Heidi got killed and she born Delator. And when Delator was 13, Victor, his father, passed away. So he is orphaned and was being raised by Diva Puff until he is well of age. Before she died, and then he joined the competition in hopes to, using his mother and father's strength to take over the universe, as he thought he was worthy of it. He had in his team Blankenil, who was a Byton, and a Shilton named Chef Star. And so a bunch of other new teams arrived on the scene as well. Teams from Macedonia, the Cardine formed their own team as G, Lucayan, and Jerome the Smoker, and Francis the gun expert decided to win the resignation after they lost the Mars, and they decided to go forward with the so much plan since Uwe formed his own team and was working with Diana to lure out the Paul Harra forces. And so he saw this as a betrayal and decided to join. And plus some of the old teams on there, excluding the old closet you went planet Earth. And basically everyone is still fighting for the same thing, and Ricardo and Team Control were looking for redemption after coming so close but failing. And so as the tournament began, the Sudis beat out the Outcasts. The Outcasts consisted of Dan, Bond, and Tim, who were outcasts, like misfits from different parts of the galaxy, different parts of the universe, and they wanted fame and fortune and women, but they were easily defeated by the Sumatrans, who were more than ever determined to not only win independence on their galaxy, but to rule the universe in preparations for their Lord Sumatran's return. The Kitrul entered this second battle and defeated Starbuck, who was a man who was of Kitrul origin, but he looked like and sounded like he was from a different time. He had two robots that he made, two fighting robots that he made to join, because he had to be a 3-person team. And the robots qualified since the tech doing were like cyborgs and stuff like that. But Ricardo defeated them with the help of Harry Holt's determination and Debbie's plight. And Ricardo was able to defeat these Starbuck, but he wanted him to join him. But Star was like, nah, that's not my thing. I'm not into that, but all the best to you and making a name for yourself. Cthulhu is watching you. They fight in the same Cthulhu galaxy where years ago that Victor defeated them, so Ricardo got redemption there. The third battle was with Yuri and the Chaldeans. Like I said, the Chaldeans betrayed. Yuri was confronted by G. Lucayan, and he was like, no, we will defeat you. And it was Mona, the boxer, who led victory against G. Lucayan, but the smoker, Jerome, was choking Mona because Mona couldn't fight physically because he kept turning to smoke. And then she was tagged out, and then the sumo Med took over. Yui saw like there was like some hydrogen peroxide gas thing was on the side, so he was extending on to hit it. And the other Cardinals called foul because he didn't interfere in the match. But he say, as long as you don't hit the other opponents on the field, that's not interference. What I did was hit the obstacle out of the way. And then this hardened the smoke. And because the smoke did be more solid, allowed me to defeat Jerome. And then Louis tagged himself in to defeat Francis. The gunmaker of Francis was shooting bullets all over Mead. And then we defeated Francis, and he captured the Chaldeans and sent them back to Sudimatria Galaxy to hold them up until Sudimatria returned. Next, the Tectorans defeat the Team Lagoon with Master Benny, that's his name. Got some new skills, some fighting skills, as Rom wins first and defeated Farrington and Yamacraw very easily. And Master Benny defeated Homeboy. No, it wasn't Master. I mean, Warren was one to prove himself in the last tournament. Warren defeated Yamacraw and Farrington easily, and then Rome, after Rome was defeated by Master Benny, used his might and his new upgrades to control an electrical disc that was on his back to defeat Master Benny and defeat the Lagoons. Next, the Mead. The Medonians consisted of Spice, who was a Shelton, like hard exoskeleton, but was like human figure, but his shell was replaced with skin. And then you had John, who was a Batheran, who was a spear, and had Vix, who was a fighter from the main Medonian. And their goal was to restore the Medonian Empire to its pride and glory. Seeing that now it's common knowledge that the LaFleurs helped in a way to destroy the Medonian Empire, who won the empire last from the LaFleurs in the first place for beating them. And so they went on payback. So they went out to defeat the Team LaFleur, which consisted of the David LaFleur and Harold, who came out of retirement to be determined to make up the numbers to further encourage the Harra alliance to come. And Princeton, who was like the emperor of the universe at the time, but Diana took back her position, so he now reached as officer now, wanted to redeem himself, but the LaFleur team was defeated. Next was the Closet the Delator. They easily defeated Guardian, who was Ricardo Guardian, Paul Harra, and Colin Collagen. And after the Closet it was fought in Closet Castle. That's where the battle happened, because Balsego took place all over the universe, and Miss Blankton, who was able to single-handedly, with his amazing abilities of punching and twirling around, defeated the entire team basically. Ricardo Guardian took the time after being defeated to talk to Delator and told him about Paul Harra, and told him about Comso, and told him about Soho joining the Harra team, and said about how Paul Harra was an Antichrist figure, and that Soho was getting permission from the UN ambassador to go, and then all this different stuff. So they was indeed with Paul Harra. Delta at first did not believe this, because Earth had been Christianized by his father. And so for the UN ambassador, their army sent Soho on to be with the Antichrist is ridiculous and stuff. So he pushed it off, but he still think about it as the tournament went on. And so next battle is an amazing battle between Team Kichuru and the Medonians, who were rivals and hate each other. The Medonians wanted to subjugate Kichuru and all the universe. The Kichuru wanted to fight for glory and self-awareness and independence. So these forces clashed. Howie Host fought bravely. His head was able to beat back Jordan and Vix, proving to his master and the man he greatly admired, Ricardo, that he was able to fight. However, the might of spice was too much, and defeated Host and Debbie, which led Ricardo and Spice to fight for the death. And Spice was taking off his head shell and churning it around and doing these blasts and all that. Ricardo was using all his fine abilities and came with the power of Cthulhu to defeat him for good. And then Spice was defeated. He admit that he was defeated by a much stronger warrior, and the Midorians' plans to reclaim the universe was foiled. And Cthulhu, all of Cthulhu rejoiced and called Ricardo of Yellow because of his yellow skin, and his fame grew within the galaxy. Next, I go and speak to Sudi, as to who did not fight in the first round, decided to fight this time to defeat the Sudimatria single-handedly by himself. The Sudimatria by Madu was greatly disappointed. They made it to further than they ever did, but they still was not able to win independence, and cursed his influence for betraying them. Duke was not concerned about his Duran galaxy being seven or so much, and that he was only concerned about bringing his love back to good health. Next, Team Hera finally enters the competition. They face the Kozuchu, and it's there that Deltor's men were struggling against the Hera team, which consisted of the recently resurrected Finko, who was mighty elder but fell and succumbed to darkness and worshiped a false god Pendra after Pendra brought back his world from destruction and God didn't. And then Guardian, the original Guardian, wanted to save his soul, but Finko died in his sin and surfaced to hell. But Paul Harra, using his powers of the evil hand, dragged Finko back from hell, back to life to fight for his team. Along with the leader of their team was Convetti, Paul Harra's second in command and right hand man, who also was a part of the original Chidinian Empire that got immortality and was planned for 1,000 years to evil plans. And of course, Suho. Delator, along with his allies, defeated them and captured Suho, since Suho was under his jurisdiction. As their team was defeated, the Finko and Conventi retreated to the outskirts of the dimensions, the secret location where Paul Harra was hiding. Then Guardian took chase, since now his team was defeated, took chase and needed a signal for whoever was going to join him to come after them and to deal with Paul Harra at the end of the tournament. Now after that, the Kichu decided to forfeit the tournament to deal with the situation on Earth and subjugate it. Fair, during this time, Delator and Longdunul entered the main building of the UN in Tel Aviv, where they fought off against elite forces. And Intel, within his chain, Suho was in Delator's chain as Longdunul fought off the elite guards of the UN ambassador, while Starsax, that's his name, the Shotan, used his troops to combat the enemy armada, the boats, the ground troops, and the tanks that was protecting the building. They also had the Hanguru, which were flying skeletal-like creatures that flew and shoot blasters and stuff. They dealt with the Air Force. The battle was going smoothly, and then more reinforcements are coming. Suho, who now realized that the UN ambassador was truly the evil Antichrist and all that, and he felt sorry for what he had done. And seeing how they used Sao Tong, dead boy, Sao Tong was dead and went to heaven, but they kidnapped this boy, making an android to fight for them. And seeing that caused Suho his heart to turn, and he broke free from Delator and fought off the reinforcements of the UN troops. And then Blancdenu was able to defeat Sao Tong, the body, with the help of Delator. And then the UN ambassador used powers that he gained from the Antichrist to, like, Devil Punch Blancdenu lights up. And Delator confronted the UN ambassador, and the two of them fought as Starsax and his troops beat back the last of the UN forces outside the UNHQ. And long story short, the UN ambassador was defeated. The Delta used a special ability of the three-headed dragon blast, which split out green fire, and the UN ambassador was burned to death. At the end of that, Earth was subjugated, and the Milky Way galaxy belongs solely to the Gaza Troop. And Delta now realizing that the Guardians and the Force are right along, and that he is being used as a pawn for their evil purposes to destroy the Sudimatria on the floors for this Paul Harra guy, decided to take a ship and journey on and follow Guardian's signal to where Paul Harra was hiding. The tournament continued on unabated as Yui defeated Yui's team, defeated Tech. The Tech Duran, all of them, as it was Mona that defeated both Rom and Rowan, and then it was Mead who defeated Mead and Rowan, and then Mona used her boxing skills to outmaneuver the big Duke, defeated Duke, and Duke now thought everything was lost and his love was going to die. As Yui then moved on, Diana the Fall came and give him the potion to help treat his beloved to keep her life longer. And Diana said, "Go, Delta, you have fought well. But as the Empress of the universe, it's my duty to protect the citizens of the universe and for their needs. I see you're hurting, and you're fighting for a noble cause. So take this, help her." And Duke was like, "Why are you doing this?" She said, "It's the way of the law, to help the people. That is what my father and grandfather would have done. So long, Duke." And then she left to prepare for the final showdown for whoever's going to win the tournament. And then Duke, full of great enthusiasm, took his troops and went back to the Tebduran galaxy to await the arrival of Sudimatria and to be with his beloved and to help her recover. So the final battle was consisted of the Kichuru and the Yui. Kichuru handled the proof, and Debbie used her new abilities of Twisty Tornado and Spear abilities to beat back the entire Yui group single-handedly, as she wanted to prove that she was a worthy leader to lead the army, as she always wanted and dreamt of leading a massive army with all the wealth she was going to gain. The Yui were defeated. No hesitation, wasting any time. Diana faced them right after. Debbie was tired, and so Yawi host and Ricardo had to use their powers together to defeat Diana. Diana was not showing them any mercy, but the two were able to overcome her using entire team action, and two get true powers using Ricardo riding on Yawi's head, shooting blasters. Yawi shooting blasts from his eyes and his mouth, aiming at Diana and tagging in and out as Diana struggled to beat back the two of them, and she was defeated. And after her defeat, she asked them what they want: fame, fortune, or empire. And Ricardo was like, "No, I want fame and fortune." Finally, he said, "I am indeed the greatest fighter in all the universe." Ricardo yelled, "Let the universe cheer my name and give me glory." Debbie was happy now she had enough money to buy an army, and Yahweh host was so excited that the person he idolized the most, I was the greatest fighter in the universe, and he played a role in that. Satisfied with the outcome of the tournament and so successful it was, Diana went with Yui to finally beat up Paul Harra and stop his evil plans. Guardian raced first and defeated the troops of Paul Harra to get to Finkel. The 2-hour brief conversation as Finkel described his time in hell and saying there's no redemption for him. However, Ricardo's like, "My ancestor failed, but I am his descendant, and our mission is simply this, to save your soul." Paul Harra is a servant of the Gideonians who serve Pendra, the false god, to rule the universe. You don't have to serve him anymore. You've been brought back to hell from very wicked purpose. But in the midst of the bad, the Lord can use it for good. You have a chance, a second chance, a redemption. Please, allow me to save your soul. To lead your soul to salvation. Finkel said, no, you have to fight me first. The two fought. Ricardo uses inner elder force powers to use a shield and sword, and was fighting very vigorously. Finkel noted that if Guardian fought like this during the tournament, they might have actually won. He said the tournament was nothing. Finkel's soul was more important to him than winning any old tournament. In the end, Finkel was defeated, and Ricardo gave Finkel a choice of redemption. But Finkel said he has made many sins in his past life, and many blasphemies against God. He had to go on a solo journey alone in stars to seek self-redemption for his sins. And so Ricardo let him go. I'm confident that Finkel's soul was now on the verge of being saved. He thanked his ancestor Guardian and was about to move on. More upper in the castle where Paul Harra was, Delator had arrived. The beam of troops and then he faced Conventi, who was in his cyborg, his giant robot. And then they were fighting, and Delator used his powers now, activating his God Royal powers. He was able to defeat Conventi and push him off the ledge that was deep down on the other side of the castle, 30 to 50 feet down below, and Conventi fall to his demise as Delator fought. And he decided, let me go up further. And up further, Yui, and confronted Paul Harra. And then Delator and Guardian met up each other and they all raced up there. At the final confrontation between good forces of good and evil, Paul Harra cursed them and saying the plan was to get to the floors and Sudimatrians to fight when Sudimatrian was returned, but that did not happen. The second part was to get Finkel to maybe sway the Guardian to join them and to help Delator. He worked so hard to use the times Joshua to bring him back to life. He realized his true intention, but he's the dragon. But he's the dragon of the Book of Revelation. And since Paul Harra is an antichrist figure, he thought he could use Delator's might to destroy both the Sudimatrians and the floors, to take over the universe and plunge it into darkness. Delator rebuked him and said, my father is an elder, and my mother is a worthy and honest woman. I am no dragon. I might be a dragon emperor, but I'm no dragon of the Revelation book. No. Delator was in denial. Delator, you're in denial, said Paul Harra. You will soon realize your destiny. Anyway, 4 against 3. 4 against me? Seems unfair. Give me your best. Let's do this. And then Diana told Ricardo to go back. And Guardian was like, what? And then she's like, we have to give him our best. Me, Uri, and Delator. Stay in the sidelines in case we need you. And he Ricardo then like, yeah. And then the 3 of them faced off against Paul Harra, who was using his fire sword to do major damage on all of them. But the 3 of them managed to pull together, tag in and out, using tournament fighting style, and was able to beat back the mighty Paul Harra and his evil hand. As Paul Harra was dying, he used his last attempt and said, if I cannot destroy the floor, or so much on my own, then at least in death I could fully destroy the good reputation of the floor. And then he ran up to him and stabbed Diana. Diana would survive the stab wound, but he inserted something in her. And then Uri asked, what the hell you did to my sister? And then as Paul Harra was now falling after being struck with a holy matrimony blast from Ricardo Guardian, he said 2 words, Golden Goddess. Then he fell down and perished in the flames. And then Uri was explaining to Diana and Delator about the Golden Goddess and the history of her and being evil and being influenced by the evil king of Atlantean as the first evil of law, and that the evil power is now inside her. Diana needs some time to recover and to somehow suppress this evil power, so she wouldn't disrupt or destroy the good legacy of the floor name. As she rested, Delator parted ways with them and said, if there is a next tournament, we will meet again. This time, I will not rest until the empire is mine. And you all be calling me your emperor very soon. And then, using her godlike abilities was now in her, and being half so much, and she sensed that Lord so much and had finally returned, with the Pendra sword now fully within his grasp. She told we farewell, and said they would meet again, but this time as rivals. Seeing that her, Deltor, and now so much powerful leaders, all vying for control of the universe, all war was inevitable, but to prevent it, another tournament had to be started. Another tournament had to be started to decide the fate of the universe without major casualties. In it, it was explained to Diana, who felt guilty of all the deaths of Sudimatrians, that the Sudimatrians that were killed was secretly healed by Madonian medicines that Sudimatrians took. And since Sudimatrian galaxies were so big and vast, they were able to hide their people this way, that way, and many moons and many stars, systems, many planets, so the floors and don't know where to go, where to find them, and how to get there. Because the galaxy was so big, only Sudimatrians knew. And so she smiled and felt glad that the people that died over the course of 1,000 years was not as much as they thought. And so they departed ways. Back in Sudimatria, the Chaldeans, the Technorans, the Scholastica, the main Sudimatrian forces, the Bahar, the Bashar, the Chaldeans, and all the rest of it, the full United Sudimatria, was now, well, almost full United Sudimatria. All the leaders and representatives stood up as Lord Sudimatria declared his return. He raised his new Pendra sword and vowed that the time of Sudimatria was at hand, that the 1,000-year slumber was over, and that in the next tournament it would be Sudimatria would be standing tall to finally take what's rightfully theirs, the universe, as a new phase, and a new war, and a new phase and a new battle was about to begin, this time for control of the entire universe. Back into true, he felt close. Ricardo, celebrating in this new major castle he bought for himself for Roosevelt, now had an army thanks to Debbie, admirers, power, and influence, and fame. He asked host, with all this, what is one to do now? And then Yahweh host looked at himself and then he said, conquest? And then Ricardo shook his head and said, yes. Now that I am the greatest fighter in all the universe, and all know my name, all that's left for me to do is to pursue empire. The next tournament will be decided between me, the LaFleurs, the Sudimatrians, and the Cositru. And I will crush all of them and stand tall. And my first order of business when I become emperor, to end the tournament and arrest all those that oppose me. Then the Kichuru will no longer be slaves to anyone, but masters of all. Now a new chapter begins, as all the powers that be look now for empire, and those other teams that lost before were looking for redemption. In the shadows, mysterious new powers and new forces for alternate timelines, and new alternate timelines and dimensions, but personal in the seams. A new stage of war, chaos, and battles were about to commence.